So welcome everyone. Happy Tuesday. Yes, it's Tuesday. Amazing. I hope you're having the most amazing day. And today it's so interesting because I'm in this season. I don't know about you guys, but I'm in this season of learning to be vulnerable. And for me, this is a very new space. I feel that I am very vulnerable. I can be with some of my very close friends. But then to share my biggest weaknesses is actually it's not easy for me at all because I normally am the strong one. And so I have a story that I want to share, and it's so silly, but at the same time, it's something I feel that I need to share. So on Saturday, I went to this amazing women's conference, and yeah, it was powerful. It was at this church, and I made some amazing connections with these women, and we were praying. It was awesome. I felt like God did incredible things. And anyways, I left. I went to go find my car. It was maybe 7:30 at night or so, not that late, but it was dark out. And as I was looking for my car, I walked up and down this road for about 20 minutes, and I realized, dude, my car's not here. Dude, where's my car? So I'm looking for my car. It's nowhere in sight. I walk for about 20 minutes, and then I freak out, and I'm like, well, my car's stolen. So, and again, it was in a safe area, so I just thought it was very strange. And there were tons of cars all over the place. I was looking at these signs that were showing about towing as well, and so I thought maybe my car was towed. Anyway, so I call the cops and report it, and so now it's on nationally, and the cops are all looking for it, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta text my insurance agent who's in Seattle. I'm in LA right now, and I'm thinking, okay, he's a busy guy. He's probably out there trying to raise $1 million for some organization. Like, I'm bothering this guy. Oh my gosh. And then I start calling people from all week. You know what I had to teach yoga in the morning. I had a Bible study thing I was leading on Monday and a meeting the next day. I was calling different people, different work projects, and a few friends, and letting them know. And everybody felt so bad. Everybody was trying to figure out how they could help me. And a couple people were scrambling, trying to figure out, coverage for things that I needed to do, or plans of, worst case scenarios, what we're going to do. And so I call my dad too, and he's laughing. He's just like, welp, all right, well, you know the drill. Just go ahead and take care of that. So I'm just feeling so bummed. And anyways, then I get in the car with this girl who I actually met her at the conference, which she was so amazing, and offered to take me home. So we decide, I said, why don't we just drive around this area and see if we somehow see the car, or if I've heard that people that have stolen cars, they don't go very far, and maybe they're hanging around, which would be weird, but what if? So we're driving around, we don't see anything, so we decide to drive all the way back, which my home was an hour away from where we were, and we start to drive back. I'm with this girl I don't even know. And then as I realized, I said, I asked God, I said, God, can you just show me where my car is? And all of a sudden I get this weird flashback in my head of when I was walking out of the place. It took me a lot faster to get to where my parking area was than when I walked in. So that must have meant that I could have parked somewhere else. So I tell the girl, I was like, hold on a minute. Weren't all the streets, didn't they all look exactly the same? She's like, yeah. And I was like, didn't they have the same kind of business buildings all around? And she's like, yes. I was like, oh my goodness. I know this sounds crazy, and I'll be so embarrassed if this is the truth, but can we go back, please? Because what if my car is in a different spot? She's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, trying to explain to her, but she couldn't understand. So I just said, can we please just go back and I'll show you what I think I know. So we go back, and I was like, again, I'm going to be so embarrassed. But I asked her to turn down this one street. She turned us down the street, and I go, all right, well, there it is. There's my car. And all of a sudden I just start laughing, and I was like, are you serious? Here I was calling the cops. It's on, nationally they're looking for it. Then I called all these people. I stressed people out, myself. It was this total disaster. This girl I don't even know is amazing, driving me an hour away, and I messed up. And I was so embarrassed. And maybe some of you guys, this would not be a big deal at all, but I wanted to make up a story right on the spot. And I know that sounds crazy, but I was like, what kind of story could I tell people to like just pretend like this never happened? And all of a sudden I'm like, Jessica, you are not a liar. You're not making up a story. So I was like, I just have to tell everybody that I messed up and that I have my car and I found it. I got to call 911. I called them because if I was driving around with my car, they could actually stop me at gunpoint, and we don't want that to happen. So I'm so embarrassed, and I'm texting and all the people, and I call, a few other people, and they're like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah. And I was so embarrassed. And what I realized, because I learned a lot through this, and this is why I wanted to tell you this story. So for me personally, I grew up with super high expectations. I love my family. They're amazing. But I think being the oldest one in the children, that I always had this high expectation to be a certain way and to always have it together. I was everybody's rock always, even my friends' moms. I mean, the pressure was on. It was like, oh yeah, if Jessica is able to do that, then of course you can. So it was like, oh my gosh, I gotta have this pressure always. And even with different projects I've had, or different partnerships I've had, or different leadership roles I've had, it's always been this high pressure. And people would always say, Jessica always knows how to do everything, so we can rely on her for it all. And when everybody else was falling apart, I had to have it together. And so with that being said, I never let myself mess up. And I mean, in small ways, I can laugh stuff off, of course, but for whatever reason, I felt that this was like a big deal. So I realized in that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, Jess, who cares? It's okay if you mess up. It's okay for me, it sounds so silly, but it made me feel vulnerable and just being like, hey, I messed up. And also, hold that thought. I messed up is a story that I told myself. I didn't really mess up. I just parked somewhere different, it's not a big deal, but I made it a big deal because I was thinking about how I impacted other people's lives. I was like, oh, I stressed everybody out. I told them one thing, they're all feeling horrible for me, and now this is the impact of it. So with that being said, again, I just want to encourage you guys, because that's something that I'm walking through right now, is kind of letting go of that pride, letting go of that, and just knowing it's okay to mess up. You may have something that feels like shameful inside, or that, people are going to judge you for it, or they're going to think certain things about it. And to be completely honest, people don't, they don't really care. You're caring so much more than anybody else will. And so I just give you that permission that it doesn't matter how you've grown up. If you've had super high expectations, whether it's at work, whether it's in your family, whether it is with coworkers, whether it is, who knows, your friends, those high expectations that you have and that you've allowed to be placed on yourself, because we allow certain things to happen. I now am realizing, okay, that's not the weight that I need to carry. So I think that this happened absolutely for a reason. It's just a big thing to say, hey, Jess, who cares? So I hope for you that you would just take away something, whether that's a laugh at this story or an encouragement to you that it's all right to mess up and to share with some people about it and then laugh about it and let it go. So thank God I'm over it now, and I can share this story and just laugh, because I realized I needed to start doing that. So I started calling people and sharing, and then I taught 2 yoga classes, and I told them in my yoga class, and they all got something out of it for themselves as well. So I hope that encouraged you today. I hope it made you laugh a little bit. And I also hope that you know that it's okay to make mistakes. And yeah, I hope that you have an amazing day, because in order to pursue our purpose and do the things that we're created on earth, we got to be healthy and whole, and that's one process of it. Okay? Have an amazing day.